so sweet.
You know, if you two want to get a room, just let me know, Dean.
Oh, don't listen to him, baby. Doesn't understand.
You're in a good mood.
Why shouldn't I be?
No reason.
Got my car, got a case. Things are looking up.
Wow. Give you a couple of severed heads and a pile of dead cows and then Mr. Sunshine.
How far to Red Lodge?
About another 300 miles.
Good.
Alright, here we are with the final reveal of the supernatural Impala. After that little intro, let's take a close-up look at Sam and Dean's baby. Okay, here's the finished product. This is Baby from Supernatural, Dean's 1967 Chevy Impala. This is a kit by AMT in 1/25th scale. It's based on the two-door Impala model that they've had out for years, with some new tooling, basically to convert it to a four-door. It's a fun kit to build and goes together relatively smoothly. Just a few issues which I've covered in some of my videos, and makes a very, very good looking display piece. Now let's go over some of the details that I've added to the kit, apart from the excellent details it already came with. One of the first things that really bothered me about this kit were the door handles. As you can see, I've opened mine to replicate real door handles the way they are on the real car. The kits just have a tab that sticks out of the body. It's a solid tab, while I have drilled out the center of the tabs and shaped them to be very similar to the door handles on the real car. I've also added bare metal foil for all the trim work, as well as the door handles, the interior trim, all the chrome that's on the door panels. It's all bare metal foil. The rear window, all bare metal foil. I will admit I did get one or two details incorrect, and I'll leave that to our eagle-eyed viewers who really know this car to point those out. It comes with the Kansas plates, which are from the early seasons, which my car is based off the Season 1, Season 2 car. So let's take a look at the interior. For fans of the show, you'll note I put a couple of Easter eggs in here. The first one being the initials that Sam and Dean carved into the rear hat shelf under the carpeting when they were kids. You can see SW and DW that I've etched into the hat shelf, as well as peeled back the carpeting to look like the carpeting that's actually in the back of the vehicle on the hat shelf. And then if you look inside very carefully, let's see if we can zoom in there, the army man that Sam put in the ashtray on the left rear door is right there. And replicating that was a little bit of a chore on something so small, but I think I got a good representation of it. Now if we look on the inside, I've also added seat belts, carpeting, which of course lends to bits of the carpeting getting all over everything, which will have to be cleaned out. But the interior is fully detailed. Let's take a look at the dashboard. If you watch my videos, I went over the entire procedure for dashboard building and the interior. I have to say that I was very impressed with the dashboard on this car. They really made a nice representation of the original dash. It's nicely detailed. The instrument cluster build nicely done. Steering wheel nicely detailed. And with the proper painting. I don't know if you can take out all the chrome accents I put on the steering wheel. And here are the door panels. We have the chrome accents. And that's bare metal foil on the door panels. The handles. The window cranks. They're all in there. Trying to add as much detail as I could to the car. This is one of my favorite shows, and I wanted to really do it justice. The paint job is that of a car that's 40 years old and has seen a bit of wear and tear. I tried to replicate a real-world paint job, not a show car paint job. So there are slight imperfections in it, which I don't know if it's really coming through on the camera. Chips here and there, because I really wanted it to look like their car was just driving all across America as they fight demons and angels. While still giving it a very nice appearance. It's not a new car. Baby's 40 years old. Dean has rebuilt her on numerous occasions. And she'd seen her share of accidents, so she's not a brand new shiny vehicle. But she is a well cared for 40-year-old vehicle, and I'm hoping that that's what I got across with the paint. Alright, let's take a look at the engine. Alright, the engine is very nicely done. I gotta say that I was gonna add more detailing than I already had, but with the coolant lines and the radiator hoses, the only thing I really had to add was a fuel line going from the pump to the carburetors. Everything else, it just looked right, so there's not really a need for me to add anything else. Although I still have to install the battery. I am trying to replicate what a period correct battery for this car will look like. So I haven't gotten that in yet. It's the last piece to the car. But I'm very happy with the way the engine turned out. And the accessory drives, the spark plug wires, you can see back there I've wired the engine. The detail painting came out very nice. Now, one thing I did do to modify on this car was that I gave it posable steering, as the way the steering gear is set up in this car. If you want to make it posable, it's a very easy modification to make. I went over that in one of my other videos in this series, and it's something that anyone can pretty much do, and it gives you full control of the steering for posability. And this car really does look good with the wheels turned. Okay, now let's look at the undercarriage. Here we have the undercarriage is very nicely done. The exhaust, nice the way it wraps around and underneath the rear axle. The diff is nicely detailed. Did a little bit of weathering on the chassis bottom. A little bit of heat staining on the exhaust and on the fuel tank. You can see the rear tires are wider than the front. It is a very, very, very nicely made kit. Now, one of the things that's a little tricky is installing the spotlights, as the arm for the spotlights, it's not very clear on the instructions exactly how the arms are supposed to sit, but the box does have an excellent picture which gives you an idea of how to set it up. I recommend scraping the chrome before you glue it together. It'll help the parts adhere a lot better to each other. The same with the wipers. I did find that the driver's side wiper will have to be bent slightly to get it to sit across the glass, as it goes straight across and will be above the glass if you don't give it just a little tiny bend right in the center of the arm. Let's see if I can give you a good look at that. There you go. And that'll get your blade resting against the glass the way it should, instead of sitting high up in the air where it just wouldn't look right. So that's one issue with the wipers, which you're going to want to look out for. The passenger side wiper didn't really have an issue. The mirrors, very easy to just line up and install. Again, the box art is really good for gauging the locations of these items, as there are no mounting points engraved into the body for any of these items. I guess in case you wanted to build a version of this car that wasn't a supernatural car, they didn't want to put holes all in the body that you wouldn't need. So there we have it. Oh, again, a little black wash will really bring out the detail in the tires and in the wheels. Just darkens the metal a little bit, gives it a more realistic look. And well, I think that's about it. This was a very fun build, and I am looking forward to building another one.